Hello everybody, John here, and today on To The Garage I'm just catching up on tasks. Been very busy over the last few days, gonna be very busy over the next few days, so my plans to crack on and do the gearbox service just haven't come to fruition. If I crawl into the car and start doing it now, I know I'm going to get about halfway through moving the sump and then I'm going to have to go and do something else. So as you can see, my garage is in rather a state, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time today tidying up. But I thought I'd say hello, and another month has gone by, which again shows you how busy I've been, but I haven't even had a chance to change the calendar over. So let's pop the next one up, which is May, and it's Rick Helt, I think is the correct pronunciation. 1997 XK8 at Sacrifice Cliff, Yellowstone River, Montana, USA. Great picture. Obviously I'm a bit biased in, but I really like Carnival Red. And one of the rare pictures of a Jag with the Leaper on the bonnet. Well, not a Jag with a Leaper on the bonnet, an XK8 with the Leaper on the bonnet. And I'm really ambivalent on it. I'd love to see a Leaper on a Jag, I really do. And put it in the right place, and I think Rick has put it about as good as it can be. So over the top of the cat, the back of the cat, if I use this big one as an example, the back of the cat flat, I think kind of works on the XK8. It's not something you can do in the UK. You would be pulled up over it quite quickly. And of course, no number plate on the front, which I'm very jealous of. So much better looking without the plates on. Got a few packages that I've brought out from in the house. This is another Torx T27. I talked about making sure you got a T27 available before you start the job if you're going to do service in your gearbox. I have got one, but I hadn't got a 1/4 inch drive, so I've got myself a 1/4 inch drive version, which is nice and neat. And while I was at it, I got a new 1/2 inch drive with a nice adapter, which means it can be used on the hammer action of a cordless drill, which can be quite useful to shake these things loose. I've also got this package, which I've had on my office desk for quite some time, well, a couple of weeks at least. It should be a nut splitter, because I managed to lose one of mine. I think, to be fair, I lent it out and it's not come back, but they're not expensive things. So again, if you're interested in a useful tool that you may not have in your collection, then a nut splitter is quite a good thing to have. Using completely the wrong tool, John. There we go. And the way these work, if you've never played with one of these before, is you put the nut you're trying to split, because it's seized, rusted on, in position in that loop, like so. And by tightening this, you put a hardened point on one of the flats, and that should split the nut and part it. What you typically find is, if you can get a few millimeters into the wall of your nut, then it will open up, and just wiggling this will probably get it to turn. but if not, just keep turning until it pops and try not to damage the actual thread inside. Very effective little tools. And as long as the pointy bit there is quite hard, there really is no reason to spend an awful lot of money on them. Just as long as it's not made of chocolate, they're all great. This bit is separate to the threaded part, so they move kind of independently. The threaded part is just pushing it in. So this is very hard material, whereas this has got a bit of ductility to it. Same with this forged loop, different materials. So as long as they're constructed like that in 3 components, then yeah, they're pretty good. So I've got myself a number 2 and a number 3, which approximates to 2 to 3 centimeters across flats that you can use these on, and good things to have in. And I'll have a bit of a tidy out of my spares. Got this single button surround for an XK8. Got 1 broken tab on. I might have a go at repairing that another day when I've got more time, and just put it on the shelf in case I or somebody else really needs one. And I got this parcel that's been on my desk for quite some time, and I'm very grateful for. It's from my friend Gareth. Hi Gareth, if you're watching. And I need to relocate all this stuff, put it in the right places. But Gareth's got, or had, an X308, which is now sold, hence I've got a few goodies. CAC8603s, these are part of the handbrake connections, the handbrake cable assembly clip that's part of it. A little bundle of those. Yay! Coil pack. Which I imagine will probably be a good used one. I don't know that. Elta brand. Ah yes, I remember looking at this and thinking, that's handy. A set of the covers for the security nut on XK8s, X308s, and the cover puller. The right little treasure trove Gareth sent me. Right, I think this is a damper bush. Yeah, bush for a damper. Again, for an X308, but I would imagine it's exactly the same on my XK8. That goes on the handbrake cable at the back of one of the dust covers. Stops the cable from pulling through. Check that out later. No, that one's a new one on me. Anybody identify that special little jag part? So a clip to hold something in place. Ah, cool. Ball joint. Press fit goes into the wishbone. Forgotten what I'd got here. Yep, another coil pack. Another one of those clips. Yeah, let's have everybody telling me what this is, because I think it's got a bit of a mechanism to it. Obviously Gareth knows the answer and he can tell me, but it'd be interesting to know if anybody else recognises them. Oh, there's sump plug washers. Not washers, what am I talking about? O-rings. They'll get put away in my drawer. Been out riding, trying to keep fit on my new Lecky bike, which obviously defeats some of the object of trying to keep fit, but such fun. Still got the Turn, which is a beautiful machine, but you have to pedal it. I've got to grease my tow kit that allows me to pull the Abarth behind my motorhome. Give that a bit of a tidy up because I haven't put any grease on it for a little while. I am going to put a set of lowering springs on Purdy at some point. She probably looks higher than she really is because I jacked her up on the ramp and then placed her back down. But like a lot of the XK8s where the suspension's in okay condition, she does look a little higher than you would imagine was perfect. They did get set up that way from the factory, and a lot of them do tend to be a little high at the back, although sometimes they're actually low at the front because of collapsed spring seats. But I am going to try out some lowering springs on her at some stage, and although I've got fabulous ground clearance, it's kind of a feature of the XK8 as a sports car. I am considering making up a platform around my ramp, which will basically flatten this area off, give me a bridge over my cables, and box here and behind the wheels up to around here as well, which would mean that the car has got a lot more clearance when I drive onto the ramps, making it easier to locate the jacking points. Not such an issue on this car, but the Abarth is very low, and that would be useful for that. And in doing that task, I'd probably fill the gap between the two platforms at this level and go above the two synchronizer bars. Has anybody else done something similar with a ramp? Anybody got any opinions or ideas? I guess the more professional way of doing it is to sink this into the concrete, but I'm really not up for that at the moment. It's a lot of work for somebody who's not got the right tools for that sort of work. Another unrelated but related task. I noted when I did part 1 of the gearbox service that I was having trouble filming it. It's very difficult to film when you need both hands and you're trying to hold a camera. So I set it on a tripod, which is never in the right place or in the way. So I'm thinking of converting my crawling board and using these 2 bolts to mount a little stem for the camera. I've also recently got a very decent on-camera light, which I hope you guys can see is giving decent effects at the moment, which I'm hoping will get rid of some of the strobing that I've had. Where's my work lights? I got these work lights, which are great. Erbauer. I think they're called Erbauer. They're rechargeable lamps, but the LEDs in them do tend to cause quite a lot of strobing. So I'm thinking the on-camera light might help me get away with quite a lot of that. I've also got to do myself a run to the tip, which living in Lincolnshire means about a 10-mile drive, because I'm getting quite the collection of bits and pieces knocking around. So all those plastic tubs are cracked and broken. That's my old creeper crawler, crawling board, which I managed to run over with my 4-ton motor caravan. So that's no good. And some of my massive collection of old discs, which I keep thinking I'm going to use for something useful and then never do. I won't scrap them, but they're sidebars off of Alfie, styling bars, which I don't really have a use for. I'm getting quite the collection of broken garden tools. You see, rusted and broken. Broken. This is for picking up grass. When I mow, I tip it out and then have to pick it all up. And then this is my woodland area for the creatures. The creatures have been living in part of my other collection of old discs. There's a combination there of, see if I can do it, I think Navara, I think Jaguar, I think Fiat, no, not Fiat, there'll be Citroen maybe, Citroen Berlingo, and lots of leftovers here from my work on my staircase to nowhere. That's all got to be got rid of, tidied up. And my old ramps, which I rarely use these days, are in need of some repair because this platform is shot. They are very significant pieces of construction. They do need a new platform on, and that would make them useful for running Ruby up and down when I'm doing some work on her. All them flowers. Some people say weeds are bad. Weeds are just flowers you didn't sow yourself. Likewise. They had nothing to do with me, they happened. So yeah, very messy in here, and that's all I'm going to do today. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit so that when I do get the opportunity, when I am back from work, I can maybe do some more on getting this gearbox service done. So I'm very sorry to those of you who are waiting on seeing me sort my gearbox out, but it just, real life just keeps getting in the way, you know. If YouTube was my profession, then you could demand it, but it's not. It's just how I spend my spare time. So you'll have to wait until I've got some more time. I am getting close to that point again where if I want to have a photo competition for a calendar, we have to launch that competition. I'm not doing so today, but I have started to think about it. Some of it's just thinking about logistics and where I get the calendars made and dates, deadlines, etc. But there's a thing that you guys can contribute some ideas on is, should there be any form of theme for this year's competition? Now, I've had it suggested in the past that there should be a theme of best location, but you know, that kind of has come with the territory on best photo. Some people don't like to see owners in the shots. Some people love to see owners in the shots. So just let me know if you've got any particular opinions. Should there be any form of rule or theme or style to the photos that we're collecting for the next calendar competition that will form the 2024 calendar after we've chosen the best? My instinct is at the moment just to keep things really light and open as always and just say a photograph that includes an X100 is all you need to send in. But I'd be interested to know what you guys think. A couple of comments on the labels that have appeared on my cupboards. Are they sticky labels? No, I'm quite keen on these things. They are actually, let's show you, magnetic labels. There's a card and a clear acetate in front of that piece of card in a hooked section of rubberized magnetic material. So that can stick to anything magnetic. I'm loving them because I'm using a dry white pen to write on the labels, meaning I can change what I've got written on them, rearrange them. You can buy them in big bundles. Whilst we're on the subject of the gearbox service, somebody, I can't remember your name, but thank you, commented, oh John, there's another special tool that you needed to tell people to get hold of before they start this service. And they were right. And that is a non-contact infrared or laser, some people call it, thermometer. I didn't think of it because I've got one and had one for years. But yeah, if you've not got one, you need to get hold of something a bit like that. I'm not saying get my brand, although I'll put a link to what I've got, if they still sell it, in the description. But yeah, what this is, let's just turn on the backlight so you can see it. It's a little display there. If I aim at something and then click the button, it tells you the temperature. And yeah, I'm using centigrade, so apologies to people who don't like centigrade. But whatever you point it at, it will tell you the temperature. And everything's going to be much of a muchness in here because I've got the door open, it'll have evened up. However, if I point it at myself, hot stuff, I'm 28 degrees. So yeah, you're going to need something like that to do the gearbox service. So you use this to get the gearbox oil, or the pan at least, to the right temperature to get the levels correct. So get yourself one of those. Very useful gadget to have anyway, if you're doing anything on cooling systems, even looking at fuse boxes to find out which fuses are on the edge of blowing can be very, very interesting. Good gadget. For those of you who follow other YouTube channels like I do, that involve XK8s, then it was really nice to see that Projects in the Barn has got another X100, an XKR now. So well done, Simon. Excellent choice. It means that I get to watch more interesting stuff from yourself and see some supercharged fun. Looking forward to that. I'm going to wrap this video up for now and just get on with sweeping up and tidying, which is no fun for anybody to watch. So see you soon, guys. Stay safe. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.